Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Argano Microsoft Dynamics 365 2024 release wave 2. We'll give everybody just a few more seconds before we get started here. Appreciate all of you taking the time to join today. First, I'm going to go over a housekeeping slide for us. I'm sure if you've joined us before, you've seen this one before. If you are having technical or content-related questions during the presentation, please use the Q&A window and we will address your questions. Closed captioning is available by selecting the CC button in the bottom right corner of your media player screen. You can expand, minimize, and move each of the window panes displayed on your screen if needed. This presentation is being recorded, and we will send all registrants a link to the recording post-webinar. My name is Michael Hazelhurst. I also have with me today Jake Sapp, who's a senior consultant within our client care practice here at Argano. And we have a special guest, Luana Issa, who is a consultant within our innovation team, also here at Argano today. These are our webinar topics. We're going to speak about the release highlights for 2024 Wave 2, what you will commonly notice that we've gone over in most all of these in the past are the first 4 model-driven apps. So customer service, field service, sales, customer insights, journeys, formerly known as marketing. Jake Sapp's going to speak about Power Platform release notes. And then we have a new topic today, which is deprecations. Thought it was very prevalent for all of our clients to know about the up and coming deprecations and whether or not they may impact you. So excited to get started here. I will kick us off first with customer service. On each of the cover slides here, you'll see the plan coming soon and try now features. I encourage everybody to get into the release planner and you can start customizing your own release planners to however it may be applicable to your business. We actually use it ourselves as well, so it's a very, very handy tool. But we will get started now with customer service. The first is specific to omnichannel and the customer service workspace. So previously, when you had the all of your browser sessions open with different sessions, if you were to refresh that, you would have to go into each browser session individually to get it to refresh. They're now, and it's coming in a few months, but in April, you'll no longer have to do that. You can have each session refreshed automatically. So saving time for the agent. Next, we have the ability to manage cases efficiently with enhanced case controls. So this is all about attachments. And in the past, you would have to essentially create a note and then include like a photo or a file or whatever you want attachment-wise to that note. And it could easily get buried in the timeline on a given case record. Well, now they're making it easier for you to upload attachments via the timeline. They're actually going to have a separate section for it. So you can go directly to the case, upload multiple attachments together, and then see it in a consolidated view. That one's already available in GA, so we're excited about that. We're no longer having to dig to find attachments or upload attachments one by one. You can do it in bulk. Another great feature, especially if you have a lot of agents that are working phones in like a call center, for example, you're able to update the queue memberships in real time. In the past, you would have to wait up to 15 minutes for those members to actually get added to a queue, but now it'll happen in real time, which will help with things like surge calling. If you have a lot of calls inbound for one queue and you weren't necessarily expecting it, but you don't have it staffed correctly, you could in real time switch your agents over to that particular queue and avoid downtime. Like I said, 15-minute wait time in the past, so now you'll be able to do that instantly. Moving on to field service. So we had talked about previously in our webinar that there's now the ability to have Copilot summaries for field service for work orders. And that is going GA, so generally available in December. But what also is cool about it is that you're going to have more granularity into what actually is surfaced in those summaries. So you can see in the screenshot, you can determine, the record type as well as the data fields that you want Copilot to go out and gather information and then present it back to you in that Copilot summary. And like I was saying, in the past, we talked about how Copilot is now giving summaries for work orders. In the past, it was in preview, but as of next month, it's going to be generally available for everyone to use. And we found that it's very helpful, especially for those larger work orders that may span, multiple days, if not even longer than that. It might have multiple resources assigned to it. There's various reasons why someone might, like a customer, for example, might be calling in and want to know information about that work order. And you can quickly get a recap of it without having to dig and find out all the details of it very quickly. Moving on to sales. So this is a neat new feature. In the past, we would have only 2 releases per year that were scheduled and that were communicated. And now for the Sales Hub, there is the ability to update your environment to monthly releases. So starting as of last month, you want to check your Sales Hub. If you're okay with this, it automatically switched you to the monthly release cadence. If you want to go back to semi-annual, then you would need to go to the settings section of your Sales Hub and update it for the release to semi-annual. But like I said, it's been switched to monthly. So if you're okay with those releases coming out monthly, as Microsoft is wanting to do, then you don't really have to do anything. But if you want to go back to semi-annual, you would need to go into your settings section and change that to semi-annual. Another neat Copilot feature, in the past, if you wanted to upload documents, for example, to things like contacts, opportunities, leads, accounts, you would have to go sift through those, open them up, understand what each one is about, especially if there's a lot of documents, it could be time consuming. Well, they're now having the ability to go through and summarize all of those without you having to open them up. So similar to what I was talking about with the work order, if you have a lot of moving parts on that particular record that you don't want to go digging for, there's the ability to have that summarized for you and presented to you quickly and efficiently to save you a bunch of time. So the next one is updated with action items from customer conversations. So in the past, you would have to go in and create tasks, assign tasks out to individuals, create appointments, meetings, whatever it may be. And so now from those customer conversations, Copilot has the capability to go ahead and create some of those action items for you. Of course, they would be in like a draft status so that you would approve or make adjustments to those and then get them actually created without having to manually do everything. So saving a lot of time post conversation. I think it would be extremely helpful, especially if you're bouncing from meeting to meeting without having to, from scratch, go create those action items for either yourself or other individuals at your organization. Those will automatically be created. And all you're really doing is just making sure that you're okay with what was created and then moving on to your next meeting or whatever it is that you're doing at the time. And now moving on to Customer Insights Journeys, formerly known as marketing. So now you're going to have some more control over how your journey is triggered based upon membership within a segment. So you can choose that segment for an if-then branching step, as well as you can set, and you can see on the screenshot on the left, set the amount of time you want to wait for that customer to become a member of the segment. before the journey continues, and choose which actions to take if the customer is or is not a member of that segment. So really having a lot more control over segmentation within a journey itself, as well as the triggers within that journey. Additionally, and we've had customers in the past that have asked for this, so very prevalent, and looks like we're gonna have to wait a couple months, so March of 2025 for it to be generally available. But you now have the ability to export your data to your own storage for custom reporting. So in the past, you would need Fabric to do that, but now you can securely export your data directly to your preferred storage. And so you have a lot more control over, how you want to consume and build custom reporting and that sort of thing, without necessarily having to be reliant upon Fabric. This is another interesting feature. I found it especially interesting because in the past, if you wanted to get customer data from a marketing form, for example, and it's a specific data point you're looking for, you'd have to create that field on that table and then have that available to add it to the form, where now they're letting you just create custom fields specific to the marketing form. It doesn't necessarily have to be on a related table that you're referencing. So you can just quickly create those custom attributes, add them to your form, and start using them right away. You will need to note that the answer is stored only as a part of the form submission, so you can access the value anytime without polluting your data. So yeah, definitely a time saver, especially if it's like, I just want this field specific to this form, and then we're never going to use it again, and we don't want it polluting our system. We don't want to make it available in views and things like that. That's just going to confuse folks. We just want it for this one particular form, for this one particular, maybe even period of time. You can quickly just add it, throw it on your form, and then not have to worry about it anymore. And another feature coming up in February is the prevention of duplicate emails to shared email addresses. So we have some clients that have maybe different business units, and for whatever reason, they have, different, seemingly the same account, but it's duplicated across the system through different business units, or similarly with contacts. You're now going to have the ability, if that email address is duplicated, more than once in your system, maybe you don't even realize it, but it's going to prevent sending out, marketing emails to that address more than one time. In the past, it wouldn't take that into consideration, but now it will take that into consideration. Rest assured that you won't have that same email address being hit multiple times with the same marketing email. It would just be that one time. And now I will pass it on to Jake Sapp to speak about Power Platform features.
Thank you, Michael. That was great. I appreciate that. Yeah, so today we're going to go through some Power Platform updates that are going to be coming in the wave release. We're going to go through one of the ones in Power Automate that I thought was pretty interesting and worth sharing out. So cloud flows are automatically defined in the Dataverse solution. So this is going to be great because it's going to enable you to, when you create a flow inside of a solution, it'll automatically update and add the environmental variables for that solution. That's going to simplify any type of deployment process that might be going on. I don't know if you've ever had to migrate a flow or migrate any of these Power Automates, but trying to switch them between the environments can always be a really big hassle. It's going to provide for easier grouping and management of those flows. And it also unlock support for any type of draft and versioning. And so you'll be getting updates for that. And so that'll be a really nice add. Right now, if you were to create a Power Automate flow outside of the solution, it would not be connected to your Dataverse. And so I don't know if you've ever had to share a flow or kind of share that with somebody else and they didn't actually necessarily see it right away. That would be one thing that now they would be able to kind of see that inside your Dataverse. And so now what's going to be happening is those cloud flows will be stored in the Dataverse by default, which will be amazing. And then the migration of those flows outside of the solution will be a little bit easier and a little bit more available for administrators. So that'll be kind of a really big, nice thing coming forward. We're going to touch on a couple Copilot options. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Copilot, but it's all the rage these days in Microsoft. It's kind of everywhere. So use the new capabilities of Form Fill Assist. This has already been released. I believe it may be out in for everybody now, but you kind of notice that the form fill is auto-filling for you. If you're trying to like leave a page, it'll say, hey, do you want my suggestions that we've given here? So this will be nice because it should be easier and faster for any type of data entry. If you're putting in a lot of the same data, this will auto-fill for you. It'll give you relevance suggestions. So one thing that's kind of great is if you can kind of give it that address, it can kind of use Copilot to pull in some of that additional information. Gain insight on suggested values with those kind of updates and those citations. And then again, just leveraging AI to autofill and kind of make your inputs a little bit easier, a little bit faster, less clicking, less moving around, which is always going to be beneficial. And then we also have find records and filter views using natural language. Again, natural language is just going to be whatever language your system is set to. And so this is going to be great because you can, quickly find and filter data by just asking Copilot what you want. Say, hey, can you give me cases where the follow-up is next week? Or can you give me opportunities that are due to close this month, that kind of thing. And so it'll automatically pull those for you. You don't need to create those advanced filters or advanced finds, which can be kind of tedious to do. You can ask Copilot to do that for you. It'll sort your information for you as well, kind of giving you, again, that highly relevant information that you're asking for, saving you time. And then, again, like we were talking about with those examples of cases that are high priority or opportunities that are closing next week or, kind of anything that you can kind of would normally want to report on. So. Next, we're going to be getting into the deprecations. So I will leave you with Luana.
Thank you, Jake. Okay, so we will see deprecations specifically for Power Platform, Customer Service, and Field Service. First, we'll start with Power Platform, which we have 3 deprecations. The first one is the hierarchy control in model-driven apps. This control allowed users to define and query hierarchical related data in model-driven apps, such as Sales Hub, for example. Although it's been deprecated, it will continue to work in existing apps until October 2025, after which it will be removed. If the hierarchy view is essential to your apps, a custom PCF control that handles this hierarchy has to be created and deployed. But luckily, at Argano, we have transformed this control into a powerful accelerator. We fully align with Microsoft's modern design principles for model-driven apps, and we try to simplify the capabilities of the original hierarchy control, providing a more intuitive user experience with faster data visualization. Our second deprecation is the Organization's Insights dashboard. This dashboard provided information on system health and the usage metrics. It helped administrators monitor the performance and the resource consumptions of their Dynamics 365 instance. It has been deprecated from the Microsoft Power Apps default solution. But similar organization insights are still available in Microsoft Dataverse Analytics. This is starting October 24, 2024. Our third deprecation is the support for multi-tenant apps without service principal in Microsoft Entra ID tenant. The authentication protocols for these types of apps in Dataverse have been updated. Starting October 2024, API-only tokens for apps without a service principal in target tenant are no longer supported, as these have been recognized as vulnerable. This change is essential for mitigating the vulnerabilities and safeguarding your data from potential threats. We encourage everyone to provision multi-tenant apps in their Microsoft Entra ID tenants. Now, moving to customer service, we have two deprecations. The first one is the Customer Service Hub is to be removed for new organizations with the enterprise licenses. This was a centralized workspace designed to help customers manage and resolve support cases efficiently. This one's effective starting February 2025. It will no longer be available for all new organizations with enterprise licenses. Support will continue for all organizations and new customers with license types other than enterprise, for example, customer service professional licenses. We do recommend that existing customers migrate to the customer service workspace. The second one for customer service is the omni-channel for customer service on Unified Service Desk. This platform provides customer service agents with the ability to